Hello, my name is Stephan Wrembel. I'm French and also American, but I'm French from Fontainebleau. And I'm going to start by playing a little song for you. It's called Bistro Fada, and that's the theme I wrote for the movie Midnight in Paris, the Woody Allen movie. And so we're going to start this little chat with In Paris. So I'm going to put my play along. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Et voilà, done. That was Indifference. Indifference. I'm reading like the name of the play along. It's my song. It's my song called Bistro Fada. Uh, the mind of playing music and the mind of talking are two different minds. They're really two completely different things. The language is trying to go into representing a representation of something. It's very concrete, while music is a very abstract gesture. Music by nature is completely abstract. It's pure sound. We don't really know what this is. It's music itself. We know we need it. We know it happens, but we don't know what it is. Language is what we use to try to craft, either to craft ideas, or either to put a stamp on something to know what we refer to a certain level of reality. Kant said the world, we don't know the world as it is, we know the world how we are, so we approach the world the way we are. So now I'd like to start maybe to talk about music very quickly. It's a very strange thing now that I'm talking about that, music is a strange thing. So hearing is a strange thing. Seeing is a strange thing. Our senses are very strange. It's our window to the world, but we don't know anything about it. It's something I like to think about, not only when I play music, but all day long. This is kind of like my ongoing meditation. Everything, for example, we see is a photon hitting the retina, which create a chemical reaction in the brain. And then the whatever perceive the consciousness, the soul, or however you call it, the you that experience this is seeing. But we don't know if our neighbor is seeing the same thing. We can, for example, meet somewhere like the color blue or the color yellow or red, and we say, okay, yeah, it's red, yeah, or we can agree on something like that. But uh, we don't know if the other has the same experience as us. So it might be like what we see as red might be yellow, might be a shape, maybe whatever. We don't know. We have no idea. We cannot know. Same thing with hearing, music. So the hearing is the same thing. It's like pressure in the ear that creates like a chemical reaction in the brain. So, for example, there is a great saying. I like to refer to that. I remember being young and hearing that. If a tree falls in the forest and there is no one to hear it, does it make a sound? No, it doesn't. It moves energy, it moves air. But if there is not an ear and a brain to capture it, nothing happens. So there's pressure in the ear, creates a chemical reaction in the brain. We experience it as sound. It's something we fabricate within ourselves. Like we never saw light, we never heard sound. We're fabricating it with the chemical that we call the brain. Not that I think the brain creates consciousness. I'm not going there at all. But it is like kind of an engine that filters all the information that come and create what we call a representation. Actually, Schopenhauer wrote a great book called The World as Will and Representation that I highly recommend, of course. So, and also according to Immanuel Kant, our mind reshape the information that comes to us to fit itself. So we're a unique mind, a unique personality. So when something enters, we reshape it. So first, what enters into us is a representation, a chemical representation of some kind, and we have some sort of an experience. And because our mind is unique and shaped a certain way, we're going to shape this representation to fit our representation of the world. So we actually constantly live in a double representation. That's what it is. So we probably don't know anything about the universe or what's going on. So I try to think about these things. It's important. It's very important, I think, because the fact that we are unique is something that's never mentioned. I notice, for example, science is always talking about everything. There are stars, planets, there are animals, like there are squirrels, and there are cats and trees and whatever, humans. Okay, there is a genome of the human. It's always like very general like that. But there is no two stars the same. You don't have another star like our star, like our sun, with the same planet, the same amount of atoms of hydrogen, the same heat exactly, the same mass exactly, the same planet, the same thing going on. Things don't exist twice. They're all unique in the same time. So we can perceive, in a way, we can perceive some like great lines of some kind of something, which is very Apollonian. Apollo is the god that represents this great structure, these great architectures, and these great laws, the laws of the universe. And in another hand, there is all that uniqueness. Everything is also unique, which is fascinating. It's as fascinating as that general thing, So the fact that we are unique and that we are born and that we die means that we have a finite moment. And between us, before us, and after us is two infinities. And I think this is fascinating. When you think that of those two infinities, the one before birth and the one after death, that makes you like want to live your life a certain way and experience everything, music the certain way. Everything happens through with a certain state of mind, I think. Now, what is music? We don't know. It's part of that realm of like general architecture of things. And there is us as human being experiencing music. But we only experience a part of music or representation. For example, if we don't hear the same, otherwise we would all be Mozart or Django Reinhardt, so we all have like different ears. And that's why like sometimes someone's going to be like, oh, I like the Beatles, or I like the Rolling Stones, like, oh, I don't like that song, oh, I love that song. What do we know? It's impossible to know what the other is perceiving. So there are like two courses. The one course is like the personal taste and what we like and what matches our personality and our soul. And on the other hand, we have like a structural talk. So for example, as musicians, we can totally get engaged in a conversation about the structure of a symphony, the structure of a pop song, the structure, like you can look at the structure, like how something is crafted, at the pure manufacture of a song or a symphony or a mass or whatever that is, whatever piece of music. So we can observe that and comment on that. A song can be of a great factor or of a poor factor. But then there is also something else that is unique from the artist that goes out, and there is something very unique from the person that listens that comes in. And that is not quantifiable. That is like a great mystery. We don't know what that is. To get a little bit more in depth with music, of course, we know harmony, we know technique, and we know rhythm. These are the three components that we can analyze and understand and learn. The technique is for the tone. So, for example, the technique is used for that, to create the physical beauty of the sound. That's the technique. The harmony is the science of chords. How do all these voices move, So, for example, coming from a song like A minor, D minor, E7, and A. Well, I can totally, for example, revoice all that with the help of harmony and end up with something like this. See, it's the same chords, but you change the voices and you end up with something completely different. So there is like infinite combinations. It's crazy. But there is still like, it's like a grammar, that we can understand and explain. The rhythm is like extremely mathematical. That's the mathematical part of music. Rhythm is made of proportions. It's made of three things, really. It's a funny thing. Rhythm is fascinating. Rhythm is, first you need the tempo, which is a weird thing. So you need a regular beat. The problem is time. So time happens now. What happened before doesn't exist anymore. What happened after doesn't exist yet. Like instant by instant, we're on that very analogic thing, like it's not like one and zeros, probably like digital. It's probably just analogic, it's just a continuity. But still, how do we feel the regularity of something on a frame of time like that? I think it's a great mystery. It just blows my mind. The other thing, so we need like a beat. You need a unit. Once you have a unit, you need a cycle. For example, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, every time it's a different cycle. It has a different feel. And then inside of it, you have grooves. You can have, for example, ta ta pa. 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3. That's 8. 7, 8. What am I talking about? 8 is 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1. So you have beats like that. That's a 7-beat. This one, very Eastern European. So you can divide and you find grooves like that inside of those formulas. But everything is a matter of mathematics and proportion with that. It's a really amazing thing. But then there are two things emerging from that. One is the melody, and the melody is a miracle. We don't know what that is. Melody is a great mystery. We know it's there. Everyone can know it's a melody. So if you say, what is a melody? You can mumble something. Well, it's notes put together and all that. Okay, you can say things like that. But what is a melody? Well, a melody is a melody. And you know it's one. You hear a melody, you know it's one. And we have a word for it. It's a level of reality that has a word attached to it because we cannot define it. We experience it. Like if you say, what is an apple? You can't define an apple. It's a fruit. Oh, yeah, but there are other fruit. It's a how can you define it? It tastes like an apple. Yeah, but what is it? So you need to experience it. It's a reality. So we say an apple, and then we all understand what an apple means. Although two apples are never the same, even from the same tree. Never give like two apples exactly the same. It doesn't exist. So each apple is unique, but they are still made of a master plan in the intelligible, according to Plato, manifested in the sensible. So the melody is like an apple. It's a reality. It is. We know what it is. You hear a melody, it's a melody. Voila. And no one knows how to create a melody. We know we can analyze a melody always, no problem. But how to create a melody? That's a real problem. How do you create a melody? That it comes from the intuition. So you got to know yourself, and from the knowing yourself will come out the melody. It's a living process. It's alive. We don't know what it is. Same thing with the groove. You can have a tempo and two people playing the same thing, such as a swing, for example. I'm going to play a little swing. Like that with a swing. Not two people will play exactly the same thing. You take a song, chord progression, same guitar, same tempo, same voicings, everything. Two people will play the rhythm. It's never going to be the same. But it's going to keep the song. It will swing. It will do the job. But it will have a different flavor every time. Not two people groove the same. That's why when you have a band, you have a chemistry, because you cannot just put people together. Sometimes they don't play well together. That's why you listen to the Beatles and you hear that chemistry between them. You hear how the bass and the drums fit together. Same thing with Pink Floyd. It's completely different kind of people, but it fits. Same thing with Led Zeppelin, with John Bonham, like that heavy groove. It fits with these guys. So there's always a great combination of people that come together, like the Miles Davis quintet of the early '60s. The band with Herbie Hancock and Wayne Shorter and all that. It was amazing. There was a chemistry in there, crazy chemistry. Look at Django, the first recording with Stefan Grappelli. Great chemistry, But it doesn't always work that way, especially for rhythm section. You really need people that feel the rhythm together. So there's also another thing that I find kind of weird. It's like when I play the swing, I do two motions. One sound is one, and one sound is two. And when you listen, you hear tum, tak, ketam, tak, ketam, tak, ketam, but the ketam is not played. See, if I play it, it's heavy. That means that if I hear the swing in my head and I just do this 2-beat and just play this 2-beat, the listener is going to hear it, which is like a fascinating thing too. It's one of the magic of music. Another thing that I found really weird and magical is one human is going to play something, the other human is going to receive it, is going to have an impression. So what does travel? It's not just notes. It's not a C and a D and a chord. Of course, there is an architecture which is very Apollonian. Once again, there's stars, there is trees, and and whatever, gravity and all that exists. Yes, music exists like that. The grammar of music, the balance between the elements exists. But um, in reality, there is also what's in it. That's the Dionysiac side of things. Dionysos, the god, um, manifested by the great Friedrich Nietzsche, especially in Thus Spoke Zarathustra, one of the greatest book ever written. Thus Spoke Zarathustra by Friedrich Nietzsche. Incredible. Um, and in this book, in Thus Spoke Zarathustra, uh, and like other books too, he talks a lot about Dionysius and the Dionysius way, which is basically eat at the tree of life. Just do it. Manifest, well, be what you are, become what you are. That's really the thing with Dionysius, expressed by Nietzsche: become what you are. And Apollo is know yourself, and you will know the cosmos and the gods. So you see, know yourself and become what you are. These are two different things, but they are complementary. Know yourself goes with the general thing, the general rules of the universe, the laws of nature, and how you merge into it. And become what you are is you also have to take in account your own nature, and you have to express it and bring it to the world without any hesitation. Just do it, So it's a beautiful thing. So the music that we perceive on one end, the Apollonian side, like the very structural side, the notes and stuff, oh, it's beautiful, it's well done. But inside it is also the other human who pours something from his Dionysiac nature, his life force that travels with sound and energy. It's not sound, actually, it's just energy, and it gets into sound for someone. I'm wondering, like, when I play in a concert, what anyone hears, I don't know. There's no way to know how anyone hears anything. It's crazy. It's amazing. And we all feel something. We don't really know what it is, but we feel it. I see a question here. Okay. Hello, everyone. I see some comments. And Facebook user, Stephan, will you play Bistro Fada? Tell us about that song. I played it to open it. So when we're done, you can push play back. That's the first thing I did, is play that song. What was life like living in the gypsy camps? I never lived in the gypsy camps. I hanged a lot with the gypsies. I spent a lot of time with them for many years, driving to the gypsy camps north of Paris and also near my town and all. And we played a lot of guitar all day long. That was fascinating experience. Very nice people, very welcoming, very warm, and very music lovers. But yeah, that's the only experience I have. I never like lived in a trailer or anything, I'm not a gypsy myself, we are friends, I go hang out, but that's it. Don't worry, you sound great in concert. Thank you. Come again. So now I would like to talk a little bit about Django Reinhardt. Time is flying. It's already 5:23. Django Reinhardt, great genius of the guitar. He knew music. He had it. He didn't have, that's the kind of guy who could not lose it. You could take the guitar away from him and everything. 5 years later, give him a guitar, he could still play the same, because music was so ingrained in him. It was something that he had access to. We don't know how, we don't know why it happens, Mozart, Django, and all that. But Django Reinhardt to the guitar is a little bit what Bach is to the keyboard, One of his less famous repertoire is where Django the Impressionist. So I have like a recording. It appears here. Django the Impressionist. It's like vinyl and CDs and Spotify and iTunes Music and all that stuff, And I also did the book of transcription. See, for the, oops, I'm like reversed here. Voila. It's for guitar and all instrument, music and tablature. There's 17 preludes that Django wrote. It's a fascinating thing because this is where we see Django's command of harmony and the structure of music. I'm going to play a little moment for you like that. Uh, see, like all these colors, very Debussy-esque. You see that? So it has like very specific flavor. It's fantastic the way he moves voices all around and all this little melody. Those kind of things. The guy was born with that melody and a sense of harmony, architecture of the music that was phenomenal. So I spent my whole life studying his guitar playing, and I came with all that. Actually, I organized a festival which going to happen March 1st through March 6th. It's in Maplewood, New Jersey, and New York City. It's called Django a Go-Go. And I highly recommend if you are in the area that you come and come to the shows. I have like 2 shows in Maplewood, which is like a little town in New Jersey where I live currently. 20 minutes from New York City. And we have 2 shows there. One is called Django Experiment, featuring Daisy Castro and all kinds of players. We're going to play with my band. We have players from Europe playing with us. It's going to be amazing. That's the Thursday night. The Friday night, March 4th, is going to be Django New Orleans. I have a band from New Orleans and my band, and we're going to combine like that Django sound and the New Orleans sound. And Saturday night is the big show with my European players. I know it's going to be amazing. We're going to be like 15 on stage, and I'm bringing living legends from France. I know it's going to be amazing. And the whole week, I'm doing a guitar camp. So if you're a guitarist and you're interested in learning, that's a very small window. I have like 30 students. We do 3 groups of 10, and we rotate the players. I have those great masters from France, those living legends, and like Raphael Faiz, Sébastien Félix, Laurent Estin. We have Russell Welch from New Orleans, Tommy Davey from LA. I'm gonna be there. So we spend the whole week playing Django, jamming, learning, drinking wine, eating cheese, and there is like all the shows, and so it's really cool. It's called Django a Go-Go. So if you're interested, djangoagogo.com. That's a great event to really celebrate his life. And I have like a bunch of shows coming upstate. There is the list right here. I see on the chat, so you can see that. It's all on my website, stephanwrembel.com. We're going to be in Albany. We're going to be in Beacon, New York. I'm going to play like Django the Impressionist, the whole 17 preludes. The whole 17 preludes are going to play in Rochester and Buffalo mid-February, the 18, 19. So don't miss that. There's a lot of things coming. Go to my site, stephanwrembel.com, or my Facebook. And also, I developed the teaching. I see there is a question. How have you pivoted during COVID while you weren't performing live? Well, I was teaching. I have like many students now, and I have a very specific way of teaching. I take care of, like, there is like, of course, the general knowledge of everything. And there is, of course, the student. And I don't really like to pour things into people. I think it's more about extracting the personality of each student. So, but through the knowledge of harmony and all that, and the knowledge of Django, we're able to find the most beautiful places into each of the students. So if you're interested, just shoot me an email, stephanwrembel@gmail.com. It's very easy. And I book lessons with you if you want. this is all good, and we can talk about all that, the guitar. I think my time is running out, unfortunately. That was too short. That was too short. I had such a great time spending time with you, like talking about all that. And don't worry, there is more in concert, and there is more like if you take lessons, and um, there's more. There's always more. Okay, thank you very much, and good to see you. Have a great day. Peace.